And it seems that the legs can move, although I have yet to see personally, I have yet to see anyone give a really good showcase of how much the legs can move. Like they just move them a little bit and they're like, oh, they move. Like, yeah, I get that they move, but how much? Okay, like I want to see the range, dude. Okay. All right, guys, welcome to the first review here on Wrestling Recreation. Today we have the Pinnacle Collection Jeff Jarrett, officially licensed, by the way. They're letting you know that for sure, officially licensed, all right, by Zombie Sailor Toys. It's kind of tough because it says Zombie Sailors Toys here, but I've also seen Zombie Sailor Toys, so I guess they use both names, both zombie, because here it says zombiesailor.com, not zombiesailors.com. So I guess it's Zombie Sailors Toys. Okay, it's like I guess the guy that runs it is the Zombie Sailor. That's the thing, and it's like these are his toys. So Zombie Sailors Toys, right? But anyways, so this series of figures is basically like the most talked about, the most hyped up wrestling figures going right now, as far as I'm aware. These were just, released or like, shipped out very, very recently. There are some reviews online, but not as many as I thought I would see. Like a lot of the bigger wrestling figure YouTubers and stuff haven't reviewed these. I guess they didn't pre-order them and stuff like that. And as far as I know, like a lot of these are now going for insane prices on like eBay or whatever, like hundreds of dollars people are paying for these figures, it seems. So crazy stuff. Thankfully, I did pre-order the Jeff Jarrett. I would have also gotten King Kong Bundy if the marketing around his articulation was better, because basically I was under the impression that the larger figures by Zombie Sailors Toys did not have like this like upper hip articulation here, right? And people asked about it in the comments, and they made like an articulation showcase video kind of thing. And in that showcase, they did not show any upper leg articulation. Okay, so I was like, okay, so the legs can't move up there or whatever. I'm not going to get that. Why would I buy like an elite style figure or a Mattel scale figure that can't move its legs? It's just ridiculous. So I was like, why would I buy that? That kind of stuff. And it seems that the legs can move, although I have yet to see personally, I have yet to see anyone give a really good showcase of how much the legs can move. Like they just move them a little bit and they're like, oh, they move. Like, yeah, I get that they move, but how much? Okay, like I want to see the range, dude. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the packaging. Okay. So the packaging is very, very solid. As far as I'm aware, this is similar to like NECA style. So you have this just like, clear glass view basically of the whole figure and everything right there. Wrestling heels and faces. Number 1, Jeff Jarrett. You got these 5 stars here and stuff. Okay. On the back, you see Jeff Jarrett, Abdullah the Butcher, King Kong Bundy, and Brian Pillman. Now, I thought about getting Brian Pillman when they first, revealed it and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, the likeness of the Brian Pillman to me looks very, very generic. It doesn't have like a strong likeness. And I think the Mattel Monday Night War Brian Pillman is much better at representing Brian Pillman's likeness. So I'll probably end up getting that in the future. But as for this one, I passed on it because this is just too, cartoony or generic for me. King Kong Bundy, I think, looks pretty good. Abdullah the Butcher, I'm not very familiar with him, but based on what I've seen of him or recall of him, it looks like him. But the skin tone is weird. The head is like a much darker color than the body. So I don't know why they did that. Is that how he looks in real life? Like, is his head darker than his body in real life? I'm not sure. And of course, King Kong Bundy, I would have gotten that if the articulation was marketed better, if they had made it clear that his legs could move well and stuff like that. Because of their, basically, I think, botching the marketing, I didn't get that figure. So it is what it is. I think it looks better than the Coliseum collection. But I will say, I don't like the fact that Abdullah the Butcher and King Kong Bundy, they don't have bicep swivels. And I really think that in a figure line like this, they should aim to have all the figures have the same articulation range, right? So if they have bicep swivels, Jeff Jarrett and Brian Pillman, Abdul the Butcher, King Kong Bundy, they should have bicep swivels as well. Okay, just give them a little cut, give them a little swivel. All right. So yeah, I don't like that, but I do think the figures, apart from Brian Pillman's likeness, look pretty good, and of course the skin color thing on Abdul the Butcher. So I don't want to destroy this packaging, and I noticed there's no blurb either, so kind of interesting actually. You know, a lot of wrestling figures have the blurbs like, oh, Jeff Jarrett, yada, 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 from the 90s, whatever, that kind of stuff. Nothing like that here. I guess it's not a big deal because usually people don't tend to read those blurbs anyways, so there's that. But anyways, I don't want to destroy this packaging. I do want to preserve it, so I'm actually going to like cut through the bottom here and, you know, remove the figure that way so I can like put it back in if I want to and stuff like that. All right. All right, so I made a little cut in the bottom. I should now be able to remove this through the bottom like this. Let's see. Yep. All right. And you see there's this like, you know, red, white, and blue thing back there, okay? All right, so here is the figure, you know, with the outer packaging removed, okay? The likeness, I think, is very, very good. I like the detail on that. That looks cool too. One thing I will say though is I wish that instead of giving us two of these like same smiling expressions, they gave us like a third one that was like wooing or something. Because I think he would like woo like Ric Flair and stuff like that. So they really, I think, should have included a wooing head sculpt. I think they included two smiling ones because one of them, like the glasses can slot into the hair and the other one, they can't. Really though, really wish they gave us a wooing head sculpt instead of two of these. That really upsets me a bit and really like disappoints me basically, you know. But the detail on the figure is very, very good. Really solid stuff. Okay, see all of that detail right there. He has these like peace sign hands. I think he would like basically walk like Ric Flair and then like put the two peace signs up, right? And in the package, well, in the box that it shipped in, they also had these two, you know, piece of info here. This first one here says, due to the nature of plastic materials, figure joints may become tight after production or during shipping, especially in cold temperatures. When posing your figure for the first time, it is recommended that heat in the form of warm air or from a hair dryer or warm water be applied to tight joints to loosen them slightly before movement. Please use care when handling your figure and do not force joints that feel stuck or resistant, as forcing tight joints may result in damage. And I believe that Hastel Toys with the Regium line had a similar message in their packaging, okay? And they also had this in there, which is basically advertising Series 2, which will have One Man Gang, Shane Douglas, Dino Bravo, and Bad News Allen, otherwise known as Bad News Brown, okay? And yeah, so on the back, it also mentions New Jack, okay? So it says that New Jack, a standalone release of New Jack is also coming soon, okay? So I'm not very interested in any of these personally. One Man Gang is like golden era kind of stuff. I don't tend to get many of those figures except for the main eventers and stuff. So you got One Man Gang, blah, blah. Yeah, so these are not interesting to me personally. Stuff that I'm interested in is like Ringside Collectibles might be making an unsanctioned Sabu. If they do release that, I'll probably want to get that as soon as possible because that would be pretty cool to get. But these, not for me personally. All right. So here's the figure out of the packaging. This is all the stuff you get. And as far as the details on the figure go, as I said before, absolutely fantastic. Very, very good detail. The only thing I would mention is like Abdullah the Butcher had like shading on his skin and stuff like that. I wish Jeff Jarrett also had that, but I guess it's kind of like a cost thing where it's like his gear is so detailed that they probably didn't want to like, you know, increase the budget of him to add shading to the skin as well. There are some imperfections on the skin though, if you look right there, like these little like brown smears and stuff. So that is a bit concerning. Not sure what's going on with that. Okay. Over here also has some imperfections going on. Yeah, but overall looks pretty good. And actually on the back of him, there are tassels on the boots. I didn't even know there were tassels on the back of the boots. So that is really, really cool right there. Okay. And the likeness, as I said, it looks like a young Jeff Jarrett to me. Looks very, very solid. Let me just get him. Oh, I might have to heat that knee up. Anyways, so here he is, right? Jeff Jarrett right there. Okay. Looks like a young Jeff Jarrett. Very good likeness, I'd say. And then let's see the other head sculpts. Hold on. From the stand there. This one right here is the same exact thing, I believe, just like without the hat and stuff on there, right? And actually, if you remove the hat, the hair on this one is actually pressed down so that the hat fits more naturally looking. So Mattel might have to consider doing something like that with the John Cena figures. Because I saw like I think Ultimate Edition, is it 31 John Cena? The hat looks really goofy and stuff. So they might try that. But they'll probably do interchangeable hair. That's what I'd expect from them. And then finally, as far as face sculpts go, we have this one right here, okay, which is more of a serious or stern expression. And I think this looks pretty good as well, okay? Very solid likeness, looks like a young Jeff Jarrett. So that's cool stuff right there. Now, as far as the hands go, you only get 2 sets of hands. So you have these hands on the figure in the package, like some, like gripping kind of hands, okay? Right? Is it focused there? There we go. See that? Yeah. And the other set of hands are these kind of like, peace sign hands. He would I think he would walk and then say woo and put his hands up like this. Let me see if I can get this to focus. There we go. So yeah, they look very, very detailed. Very, very detailed. Focus once again. Here we go. Okay, good. So yeah, well sculpted hands. I think they look a bit more realistic than Mattel's hands, And then finally it has these little glasses here. Okay. Let's just get a little focus on these if we can. They're so small. Oh, there we go. Yeah, hold on. Darn it. This is tough. Seriously? They're so small, it's like, let me move him from there. Okay, that might help. There we go. So yeah, these little glasses with the details on them and stuff. Very cool. And the way they were packaged, I actually like the way they were packaged as well. They were in this little square here, right? So you put them in that little square area. Hold on, you put them in there, right? And then this little square thing goes over that to keep them in the package, you see? And then you remove this little square thing like that. I think that's pretty cool. I like that more than how Mattel just kind of has them stuck into the box. So that's very, very good right there, okay? And as for the hat looks pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure if this is based on a specific event or a specific date or whatever. Jeff Jarrett had a lot of colorful attires as far as I recall during the 90s and stuff like that. So yeah, but this looks really, really cool though. I will say it looks very, very cool. Good detail on that, okay? One thing I will say though is I wish they made the hair like a soft, pliable material. The hair is pretty stiff. Jakks Pacific, when they made hair like this, they usually had, or perhaps always had, a really soft, bendable, pliable hair. And even Mattel doesn't do that. Mattel has this hard, stiff hair. I really hope some wrestling figure companies and stuff will start making some soft hair again. Go back to what Jakks was doing. It helps with posability, because with this, it'll probably hinders articulation looking up because the hair is like a stiff piece of board, basically. But if it was a soft thing, it could bend out of the way or whatever, okay? And now we're going to try actually switching these head sculpts out. So let's see if I'm going to need my sister's hairdryer or not. Let me see. I'm kind of scared because that message in the box. Can it? Oh, dear. Oh, all right. That one went off pretty easily. Okay. Okay, no calamity. Man, it's a massive neck peg right there, too. Woo. Okay, that is definitely not compatible with Mattel, I would think. Let's try putting, oh, wow. Hold on. Dang. The hair on mine, some of the paint seems to have, smeared off there, you see? Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully that's just, a QC thing that, happened to happen to my copy, but isn't, a widespread problem. Yeah, that is a bummer, as they would say. That is a bit of a bummer there. Just noticed that. Darn it. All right. I don't see anything with the others though. His hair has a bit of like, there's a bit of shading in the hair. There's a bit of shading actually, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But the paint seems very fragile because even right there, you see some of the paint chipping off there and chipping off there as well. So yeah, Zombie Sailor is going to have to improve, at least based on my copy, the quality of the paint or the sealing of the paint or something, because I have a lot of like chipping and paint issues going on with the hair there. Very unfortunate. Let's try putting the stern expression on this head sculpt, on this body now. Let's see if I need hot water or what or not. Will that work? It went on. Okay, it went on. It was a bit tough though. I would like if they make that a bit easier to do, but it went on, So change that out. Didn't have any issue there. Okay. Let's see how the hat looks on this one. The hat won't really fit, and I don't want to like, damage the paint of the hair more. So the hat is really meant mostly or specifically for this head sculpt where the hat just kind of sits on like that, Let's try the hands now. See how the hands can be switched out. Oh dear. Don't want to break anything, please. Okay. And these are actually a separate piece, the wristbands. So that came off pretty easily. Let's try putting this in here now. Will that work? Yes. Okay, I'm not having any issues with the changing parts out so far, or hopefully never. Let's try the other hand. Oh, okay, good. Got me really scared because I saw the Fig guys. Is his name Tom? I think his name is Tom. The guy with they both have glasses, right? The guy that is on the left of the screen, right? He had a really tough time changing the head sculpt on his Abdullah the Butcher, but I have not had any issue here. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, that worked out fine. No issues with that. Now let's test the articulation. I'm kind of scared because of that message in the box here, but let's try it out. So head sculpt, can we go? Well, yeah, I mean, you could technically go 360, but because that hair is like a stiff piece of like surfboard, it's just gonna like really get in the way. Okay. If it was a soft material, you could probably go a full 360. Okay. Looking up, nothing at all, because the hair, once again, is just a stiff thing. So no. Looking down, yeah, a decent amount right there. Okay, decent amount. Full 360 here. You've got this. Please do not break. Okay, that is fine. Then we've got the bicep swivel, full 360. Single jointed elbow. Will it bend? Yes, it will bend. Single jointed elbow gets that amount of range. Okay, cool. He has a wrist swivel, of course. And there's a hinge on the hand. How far can the hinge get with this wristband on there? Like that far. Can go up like that. Okay, so pretty cool. And then the torso, let's see, has kind of like an Ultimate Edition cut. No butterfly joints that I can tell, right? But he has like an Ultimate Edition cut right here. How far forward can he go? I might have to heat him up. I'm not sure for the torso because I'm not getting a lot of range there, but there is a cut there. He can go back more though. He can go back a bit, and then going forward is like, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty stiff. It might just be that there's not much range there. I'm not sure. It can like rotate though. It can rotate, and it could. I don't know. I don't know if it can go 360 at the waist though. I don't think you could, and I don't want to break it or anything. For the legs now, going forward, can only go like that far forward. Yeah, I don't think there's any drop down hips, right? Is there? Is there a drop down? I don't know, but even so, I can see like, look, the paint right there. I think that the his articulation, his legs and stuff could mess up this paint more. You see that? It's going to rub against this part right here. And the paint does feel really like, it feels like very fragile paint. It feels like it will chip easily. It has kind of a dry feeling to it. It doesn't feel like Mattel, that kind of like silky, plasticky feeling. So you can tell like the paint of this is probably not sealed very well, you know? So you don't really want to have this like bumping around and playing around with it and stuff. But the leg doesn't move forward that much. I mean, like really, I'd have to say pretty poor range there. If I'm not pushing it far enough, then I guess that's my fault, but I don't want to damage the paint either. But I feel like I get stuck there, you know? And then let's try the side. So side is much better. That is much better. Okay. And then going back a little bit there, right? You have a little bit back. Now, no thigh cut, no thigh swivel, double jointed knees. Hopefully nothing breaks. Okay, there we go. So double jointed knees, pretty solid stuff. There is also a boot swivel. Mine was a bit stiff out of the box. I had to like push it a bit to get it to loosen up a bit, but he does have a boot swivel there. Can probably go 360, probably, but it feels a bit stiff too, so I don't want to like risk damaging anything. And then he has an ankle swivel or ankle hinge right here. No ankle pivot that I can see. No ankle pivot, okay? And that is it for the range of articulation. So it's pretty similar to a Mattel Elite figure, I'd say, but the leg range, like going forward, is just really not the best at all. So I really hope they could improve there, you know, because I mean, like these figures, you know, modern day 6 to 7 inch wrestling figures, articulation is a really, really big thing. These aren't like big rubber guys or LJNs or, you know, statue things or nothing like that. They're just supposed to be like really posable and stuff. So I hope they improve the leg movement. I hope they improve the torso range as well, because I mean, I don't know. Mine is either really stuck or there's just not much range to begin with, okay? And I like how his piece here is a separate, you know, separate thing, so it doesn't really get in the way of articulation or whatever. And yeah, and of course it has the glitter and all that kind of stuff on there as well, okay? Now let's get into something that a lot of people really want to see. That is the height comparison compared to Mattel, you know, Ultimate Edition, Elites, that kind of stuff. So according to Google, Jeff Jarrett is 6 feet tall, okay? Bret Hart is also, according to Google, 6 feet tall. So here is the Ultimate Edition. I think this is the greatest hits version. Bret Hart, okay? A bit dusty, my apologies there. So yeah, I mean, they're similar height. Jeff Jarrett seems slightly larger, I think. Let's see here. I mean, they're pretty close. You know, they're pretty close. Bring a little closer here. They're pretty close. Jeff Jarrett, I think, well, Bret's nose is higher than Jeff Jarrett's, but Jeff Jarrett's head is higher than Bret's. So they're comparable. They're pretty much the same, I guess. So that is pretty good. The scale there does work well with the Ultimate Edition Bret Hart. Here is The Rock, who is, I believe, like, what, 6'5" or something like that, okay? There we see The Rock compared to Jeff Jarrett, okay? So I think it fits in pretty well with Mattel Ultimate Edition figures. And here's the Undertaker, who's like, what, 6'10", 6'11", okay? He has a customized head sculpt on there, but, you know. Let me get my camera adjusted a bit. Hold on. All right, so here he is compared to the Undertaker. Of course, the Undertaker towers over him. Can't really look up at him because of the hair, but yeah. So I think it scales pretty well with the Ultimate Edition figures. Let's try an Elite as well. So here he is next to an Elite Triple H and Psycho Sid. I think the height works well. I think the width of his body is a bit larger scale, though I feel like he's a bit too wide compared to Elites. Like compared to Bret Hart, for example. You see Bret Hart there. Jeff Jarrett is like a wider figure. I think he's a bit too wide compared to like how a Mattel figure of a similar sized person would be. But height-wise, I think it works pretty well. Oh, and I forgot to show this earlier, but let's put the glasses on him and see how that goes as well. Let's just try that. Hopefully it goes well. Let me take the hat off first. He has these little slots on the sides for the glasses, right? They're pretty seamless, actually, which is good. Mattels are like usually these like massive gaps. Let's see the other side. Yeah, but can they go down more than, yes, they can. Awesome, awesome. Hold on. We're on to something here. Oh, that is cool. That's pretty cool, man. Let's get this. So yeah, there he is with his glasses on. Okay, very cool stuff. Looks pretty cool, man. So I think overall this figure looks really, really solid. I just think like as far as like paint quality and the hair, I have some paint damage down here, and then like these marks and stuff on the skin. I think as far as the quality of it goes, like that kind of quality, they do need to improve, I believe. But as far as artistic quality, like the lightness is good, the gear is good, the hat, the glasses, all really solid stuff. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my review. I do think that artistically speaking, this is the best Jeff Jarrett figure ever made. As far as quality and stuff, there is some room for improvement. So if you missed out on the pre-orders and stuff like that, and you want this figure, I wouldn't really recommend going on eBay and paying hundreds of dollars or whatever. I can't see a reason why Zombie Sailors Toys would not reissue this at some point or make another Jeff Jarrett with a different color scheme or something like that. I think they'd be leaving money on the table, as they say, if they didn't do something like that, okay? So yeah, guys, as far as recreations go, the only thing I could see myself using this for right now would be like a match with Shawn Michaels. I think they had an Intercontinental title match at some kind of In Your House back in the like mid 90s, I believe. So there's that. But apart from that, I'm not like a big Jeff Jarrett guy or anything like that. I just really like the look of the figure, and I wanted this look for Jeff Jarrett, in my collection and stuff like that. If you want to see action figure recreations of wrestling matches and stuff, be sure to subscribe. Right now, I'm working on the SmackDown Just Bring It intro in action figure form, and after that, I want to recreate Undertaker vs. Kane from WrestleMania 14. I started that as stop motion on my animated recreation channel, my main channel, but I want to actually make the entire fight, but with the like vid-fed style on this channel. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.